Hello. In this video, we are going to master the basics of a Python for loop in under 10 minutes. If you are a beginner to programming and Python is your first programming language, the syntax sometimes can, although Python is pretty straightforward syntax-wise, but it can still be a little bit tricky to understand the logic. So in this video, first we are going to understand the syntax and the logic. Then we are going to apply that syntax and logic to a very simple example. And then the third stage, we are going to apply the learned outcome to a slightly more complex example. So what is a loop? A loop is simply a process or a method or a system by which we get the programming language to do a task repeatedly. So what I mean, a task repeatedly is literally repeatedly in programming. And a loop is literally a loop where the program goes round in circles and performs a task. And there are two types of loops, a for loop and a while loop. So while loops are the loops where the software goes around and performs a task while a condition is true. And for loop is a more specific one. You typically see mostly using for loops in your practical work. There are some instances where you use while loop as well. So let's dive into the syntax first. So if I wanted to write a for loop in Python, the first syntax would be for I in, and then I've put a list here, and the list is of numbers from 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So what this in the syntax word means is while the program goes round in circles. Every time it goes round in a circle, first circle iteration would be 1, second would be 2, third would be 3. And what we are asking the loop to do, we're asking it to do something useful as well, is multiply I by 2 every time. Let me better explain this by this short diagram. So when we say for I in this list of 1 to 5, what it literally means is Python goes first loop I is equal to 1. So if I is 1, then I into 2 is equal to 2. And this bit here is equivalent to this bit here. Then the second loop Python goes through, then the second loop I will be 2. So then I, which is 2 into 2 is equal to 4. And then similarly, third loop will be I is equal to 3. And so I into 2 means 3 into 2 is equal to 6, and so on and so forth. And then we are telling the code to take this output. So we've defined output is equal to I into 2. So first time this output would be 2. Second time it would be 4. Third time 6, so on and so forth. And we're saying save that output to this list, which is multi. So at the end of this loop, what we should see is a list which is of multiples of 2 for each of the numbers noted in this list. So let's quickly dive and practically do this. Let me block out this bits. We'll get to this later in the video. So first what we do is I, let me highlight one thing. I've imported a library called time because what I want to do is I want to sleep the loop and show you in a slower manner how the loop is working. So hopefully you get the idea a bit better. So let's say my data is a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is my data. So this data is equivalent to this list here. So then I'm creating an empty list here. And then I'm saying for I in data, what do we want to do? Output is equal to I multiplied by 2. And let's first do print output. Let's see what happens. So you can see 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, as we said. Now what we can also do is, because it's gone very quickly, I can also put a sleep here as well. So we can do time dot sleep, and we're going to sleep it for half a second. So now what's happening is, in this loop, I'm asking it to do three things. Every time, wait for half a second, then calculate output by multiplying I to 2 and then printing that output. So let's run it again. And now you can see slightly slower because we've given a half a second delay, but it's done the same thing. What we can also do is we can also do multi.append output, and let me print multi as well. So this is multi, we're adding data to multi here, and we can print multi here. So again with the delay, and then you can see we park these in a nice little list as well. So this is kind of a simple example of what we can do with a loop. So I think let's get into a little bit more practical example. I have already written up some bits here, so I'll just unhash them here. So we've got a list of passengers, and we want to find out if we wanted to find out if Alex is in that list, what we could probably do is, for Alex in passengers, sorry, not for, we are going to first say if Alex is in passengers, print yes. And else print no. So this is kind of a simple if and else statement you could use in Python. So I'm gonna hash this out so we focus on this bit of the code. So ignore this bit for the timing. Let's run it. And yes, because Alex was in the list, so it says yes. But let me put, let's say, Kareem. If Kareem in passengers, print yes, else print no. So no, because Kareem is not in this list. But what if you wanted to find out if any of your friends, which is Alex, Ali, and Hannah, are in the passenger list? Now, you could do this by using this, but that defeats the purpose of programming. So here we can use a for loop, and let me show you how. So I can go for I in, or maybe even easier, for friend in friends, because I can be anything. So this is, I could use the I, X, or friend here, but I'm just trying to make it intuitive. So this is my for loop, and in the for loop, you see the indentation is pretty important. So the next statement is always indented. Be very careful with that. If you use a good program for writing code like PyCharm or maybe Jupyter Notebooks, it would automatically indent this for you in Python. So you don't have to worry about it. However, coming back to this, for friend in friends, which means friend first time will be Alex, second time will be Ali, third time will be Hannah. If friend in passengers, then print this statement. Sorry, I'm trying not to write it. Then print friend. So we're saying print the whole thing that yes, friend is passenger, and you'll get the idea when I get to the when I run the code. But if the friend is not in the list, then print this, which is not in the list. So when we run it, we should see for Alex, we should see yes, friend list because Alex is here. Ali, yes, Ali is here. And Hannah, we should get no. So when we run this code, let's see what kind of output we get. So yes, so you can see, yes, Alex is in passenger list, yes, Ellie is in passenger list, and Hannah is not in passenger list. So this is a practical example of applying a for loop and programmatically solving simple tasks. Hope you find the video helpful. Thank you.